Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here with the rabbits again, and the girls are going in and out of their hole. Unfortunately, right when I got here, Deli, our solid black rabbit, zipped back down into that hole because she doesn't want me to grab her. So it's just, maybe she'll come out at some point. Maybe she won't. Hi, Silverado. So, we're not going to get to see her. That's unfortunate. She might come out. We'll see. But we're here today to continue talking about rabbit color genetics, okay? And what we're going to talk about today is the B gene. Last week we talked about the A gene, okay? That A gene is the agouti gene. It's what gives these guys, these two, their beautiful ticking pattern. If you look closely at their fur, you will see 3 different color bands, okay? Light, medium, dark. Black ticking on the end, red color in the middle, and then almost a creamy color closer to their skin. That's the agouti gene. Today we're going to talk about base colors, okay? The base colors in your rabbit's genetics. So there are 2 basic base colors, and for base colors we use the letter B. Big B is dominant, little b is recessive. So there are only 2 colors of rabbit. You are either a black rabbit or a brown rabbit, okay? Or you are a big giant Bonnie. But you're either black or you're brown. And I do want to correct myself. Last week I misspoke and I said that Falcon, I said that Falcon was brown. I didn't mean it. I meant he's black with a brown recessive. I'll explain that in a minute. So, black is dominant, brown is recessive. You're either black or brown. If you have black, you are dominant black anyway, because black overpowers the brown. In order to be a brown rabbit, you need 2 little b's. So, what we have in our herd is this is a black rabbit. I know he doesn't look black. He's Castor. But his base color is black. Okay? He carries a recessive brown gene. How do I know that? I'll explain in a minute. Hi. Love you too. So if we go over here, and we're not going to see Deli because she don't want to come out. But there are bunnies in there, but they don't want to come out. It is snowing, let's be fair. But, okay. So, Deli is our solid black female. Solid black. No otter markings, no broken markings. She is solid black from the tip of her nose to the tip of her tail. That's it. She is obviously a black rabbit. Okay? She is black. She also carries a recessive brown gene. How do I know that? Well, that's a good question. That is a very good question. And the reason I know that is we bred Falcon, this gentleman, we bred Falcon to Deli, who's over here, and out popped. We bred her 3 times, bred them 3 times through the summer because we were figuring out their genetics, and out popped some chocolate otters. Chocolate is brown and it's entirely recessive. Okay, and chocolate, those chocolate hairs on the otters are chocolate all the way from the tip of the hair all the way to the skin. So it's not an agouti pattern or anything that's making it look that way. They're chocolate. So we kept Stump, a chocolate otter. We kept Stump. We had another chocolate female and we had a chocolate boy. And we didn't keep either of those. We just kept Stump. So we know she is a brown rabbit. The only way she's a brown rabbit is if she inherited 2 brown alleles from her parents. She inherits 1 from her mom and 1 from her dad. Okay. That means that she had to get a brown from her papa, right there, and her mama, who's in here. She had to get a brown allele from both of them. So, through test mating and mating the same two rabbits 3 times to get all the combinations we could get out of them, we now know that there's a rabbit there poking his head up, but we now know that they can produce a brown rabbit, a chocolate. So because they can produce a chocolate, because they can do that, they both have to carry a chocolate allele. And that's good for us. That means we have both black and chocolate. The other reason we know that is this rabbit here is a lynx. Okay? A lynx is basically a diluted brown castor. We don't actually have a brown castor. Okay, we don't have that. But we have this bunny here, who is genetically also brown. We also have Silverado, who is genetically black. We don't know if she carries a brown allele. We know that both Stump, who is the brown otter, and Possum here, who is a lynx, we know that they both have to carry 2 browns. What we don't know is if our young other rabbits, so our black otter and our opal, we don't know if they carry 1 black or 2 blacks, because they could have got a black from each parent, right? So they could have inherited his black and her black, and they're not coming out. They're not interested in coming out. They don't really like me. They like Rowan. But here is Andersen. She's our castor female. She's pretty. Hi, sweetie. You're not the one I want to talk about today. We're not talking about castor, but you're so beautiful. So, she's going to leave. She doesn't like me either. Grouchy buns. But that is how we absolutely know we have brown and black, because brown is recessive. In order for brown to pop up, you must put it to another rabbit with a brown, even if that brown is also recessive. So that's how we know that we have both brown and black. Okay? There are only 2 options. All of the rabbit colors you see, whether you're a chinchilla, like this gentleman, whether you are a castor, thank you, Bonnie, that was a nice display. Whether you are a castor like these two, whether you are a lynx or an opal, whether you are a white, if you're a blue-eyed white or a red-eyed white, you still are either black or brown. Okay? No matter what you look like, you're either a black rabbit or a brown rabbit. Okay? And that is a really important thing to remember when you're breeding and you're crossing different colors, because those are the only 2 choices. Yes, the other genes, like the agouti gene, like the C series, these different, or the dilute gene, all of these genes will impact how that brown and black appear. But ultimately, you only have brown and black. Okay, that's it. So you're a brown rabbit, you're a black rabbit. And sometimes you might look at a rabbit, like you might look at him and go, well, he must be brown because he looks kind of browny red. Yeah, he does. But that's because the agouti gene is acting on the black gene. Okay? A chestnut agouti is a brown agouti rabbit. But a castor is a black agouti. Okay? So he is a castor. They call them castors in Rexes. They're not called castors. Sometimes they're just called a black agouti, depending on the breed. So he is a black agouti. There are also chestnut agoutis. Chestnut agoutis are brown. And they're way browner than he is. Okay, because their ticked color, their top color at the top of their fur is actually brown. So they're much lighter. This is why castors tend to be quite dark, unless you can use the rufous to brighten them up. We'll talk about rufous in a different video. But castors tend to be very dark because their fur is topped with that black, whereas a chestnut agouti would be topped with a brown. And we're going to bang a dish around for a little while. that's okay. We'll bang a dish. Anyway, that is black versus brown. Remember, black is dominant, brown is recessive. If you have a chocolate colored rabbit, that rabbit does not carry black. That means if you breed 2 chocolate colored rabbits, it is impossible to get a black base rabbit out of them. If you breed 2 black rabbits, it is possible, depending on their genotype, to get a chestnut or chocolate rabbit, or even a lilac if there's a dilute, out of them. So you can get brown from black. You cannot get black from brown. Remember, black is always dominant when we're talking about rabbit colors. Next week, we will come back and talk about the dreaded C series. The C series, I may end up breaking it up into 2 videos because the C series is a pain in the butt. Isn't it, Possum? It certainly is. Big old pain in the butt. But we will come back next week and talk about the C series and hopefully not lose our minds. The C series is absolutely my least favorite gene. But we will come back and talk about that next week. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We'll see you tomorrow.